And I agree with there's no labor out here is because I have all of them. So if you want to come work for me, that would be your best bet because everybody works for me here. So you're right.
That's
And
the
if there
best
is,
answer. I've gotten to that one.
and just so you know, if there is a painter in town, they're coming to work for me. So because I pay them way better than you do.
Welcome to the Painter Growth Podcast, where we help you scale your painting company in record time. Join us as we explore sales, marketing, hiring, finances, leadership, and more, everything that you need to know to scale and grow your painting business. I hope you enjoy and subscribe.
What's up, everybody? Mike Gore-Hickman here, founder of paintergrowth.com, and you're listening to another episode of the Painter Growth Podcast. And I am joined here by Daniel with Integrity Painting. Daniel Thayer? Thayer?
Yeah, Thayer.
Thayer. Okay, yeah. You know what? You don't really use your last name. So Daniel Integrity. Good to have you again, man. Or for the first time, I guess. I was on your podcast a couple weeks ago, and now you're here. So
yeah.
How you doing today?
I'm doing good, man. Just working on my business, trying to grow it this year.
Not pushing paint?
No, I haven't even gotten a phone call from anyone. I haven't got a phone call from a homeowner or a client or even an employee in this whole year. So
isn't this funny? Like when you start your business, if you don't have a phone call from a customer or something, like stuff is not going well. But then you get to that point, it's like it all comes full circle. It's like I didn't get any phone calls today. Today was a good day.
Yeah, there was we actually had we had to go to Panda Express today to look at the wallpaper because the manager was worried about how it looked, and it was such an easy fix. But the way that their GC or their project manager was making it sound like that it was all needed to be ripped down and replaced, and it would have took us like 3-4 days to do all that after hours because they're open now. And so like it's like super stressful for like a normal person, but like my guys are going there, they have a good plan, they're meeting with the guy, the boss, and they brought the wallpaper expert over there, and they explained to him like how we could just fix it in like 5 seconds and it wasn't a big deal. And they're like, oh, okay, cool. And so like all this drama just got like totally canceled out in like one little meeting of 5
You have to go there to solve that?
No, I'm here. They just did it like 10 minutes ago and called me before for this and were like, hey, don't worry, man. We got it all handled. She's just going to fix it real quick and
yeah,
everything's good. But I mean, that process of ripping all that wallpaper down and re-skimming the walls to level 4 or 5 and then putting up new wallpaper, and all that wallpaper is probably $3,000 just the wallpaper.
Yeah.
And then we got to install it and do the drywall. So like, I was like, man, they're being kind of a little bit crazy about that. I went and looked at it last weekend. I was like, it looks good. There's just like one little dot where she's like, I'll just peel it back, fix it, and then put it back and it'll be fine. And they're like, oh, okay, cool. Saves us time.
Yeah. They don't care. They're not married to it being done again. They just want the headache gone.
But their PM just blew it out of proportion.
Oh,
like
PM did. Okay.
He was out to get us. And then when their boss came, we're like, dude, this is crazy, man. Yeah. There's one little tiny spot. We can fix it in 5 seconds. So,
yeah.
But it's nice to have like a team that, has like a game plan and can go in and fix all that for you. And
totally, man. When you're not the one solving problems and your team brings you solutions, like, hey, we might have had a problem, but we solved it. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. I mean, it's nice when you don't have to worry about it. Like you don't stress about it all weekend. Cause I got the email like last Thursday and I was on vacation at the Avs game in Denver. And I was like, we'll figure it out on Monday. It'll be fine. But when you get used to everything working out all the time, doesn't bother you as much as at first. Every little thing bothers you at first.
Yeah. Well, do you know what I did recently that might be something that you might be interested in is I deleted my work email from my phone. Because there's nothing like I have my executive assistant now watches my email and like lets me know if there's anything urgent. But like what I would do is I would wake up in the morning and I would check my email. And then if I had like a bad email or something, like it would kind of like set the tone and it would like just make my morning kind of feel like crap. And I didn't need that in my life. So now I don't have it on my phone. I can't check it. I have to like go upstairs, go to my office, like turn on my computer, open up and that's how I get my email, rather than like letting my email control my mood all morning.
Yeah, I think if it was like a bigger vacation, I'd probably do it that way. But
yeah, but I mean, I just picture like reading an email like that at a hockey game. I mean, even if you know that it's fine, it's still like, it still affects you.
Yeah, I was like, oh man, that's gonna be I don't know. I was pretty confident that they were gonna get it handled. So,
but it's still something. I mean, at least for me,
it's nice that I didn't have to do it. That's what
Yeah.
I really love. I didn't have to go there. I didn't have to talk to anybody. I even told them, I was like, last resort, you just say you got to call your boss and see and get a confirmation that you could even do it, because I don't want to do it. And I like, just get out of it if you can. And they did. They did awesome.
Yeah. So you were just telling me that last week you guys produced like 130K.
Yeah, we're pretty close to that. Yeah, we're up like 55% from last year. So pretty crazy.
So walk me through what a production week looks like to do 130K in a week. What's that looking like for you right now? How many crews? How many production managers? What's productivity look like? How do you manage it?
And that's crazy you asked me those questions, because last time you're asking me questions about like what my project manager does, and I don't do their job, so I don't know like the exact details, but they do send me like updates and I can see like what's on the board, so I have like a good idea of what's going on. But my friend Ryan, he's been with me for 10 years and he pretty much just runs everything, puts the numbers in. He's in charge of like who's running what. And then we have two project managers that are under him that run, 10 jobs each. So they're doing, one guy does some mostly commercial, and then he'll do some residential. And then the other GC does he deals with all the subs and then mostly residential.
How many bodies do you have painting at a time typically right now?
How many what?
How many bodies do you have painting at a time?
I would say at least 50. I would say 50 guys.
Okay.
I mean, it just depends. Like some of my subs have 6 guys. Some of them running 2 jobs at the same time. So
yeah,
I don't know how many
even
guys
50 guys at 36 hours a week, 130K. That's like a $72 an hour charge rate, if those numbers are right. And that's solid for that level of and it's mostly residential, you said right now, and you're just trying to get in a little more commercial.
Yeah.
So as the boss, as the leader, right? What do you classify your role as now?
I just like to I'll look through the emails and see if there's anything that I can find and to help make things go smoother. I'm trying to figure out how to get my payments in faster for commercial jobs. Like we're billing earlier and faster, and we're really working on wording on how to talk to the accountant department to have them get us more money approved up front and before it's finished. So like we're working on wording on what kind of emails to send out, when to send them. So just like fine tuning little things like that. And
basically
also,
that's like cash flow optimization, right? You're like,
yeah,
cash flow cycle.
Yeah. So I'm just trying to like find any little holes and just plugging them whenever I see them. So I'm just always looking for something that I could do to help us be more efficient. I'm trying to write SOPs. I've been writing SOPs like every other day. Like this is what you do in this situation. I put it to my notes and then upload it to my Google Drive.
Yeah. So like one day you're a painter and then a few years later, you're now an official SOP writer.
Yeah.
Why do you think that's important? Like shifting your mindset to, I mean, I'm asking leading and obvious questions, but like, why are you putting so much emphasis on writing SOPs now? Why are you feeling that that's important?
There's just like a really good way to do things, and I've been doing them for so long that it seems like it's obvious to me how it should be done. But like but I know the outcomes of doing it wrong or not doing it a certain way. Like I know how it can affect you and your company if you don't do it like a certain way. Like there's so many outcomes to every situation. and there's a good situation that I know that I've seen work. So I want to write that down and pass it on to the people that are handling those situations.
Mm-hmm. Do you use scorecards?
No.
No. So this is part of like, you've heard of like Traction, like the book is called Traction. I think it's by like Gino Wickman. Anyway, he's built this like entrepreneurial operating system, or EOS is what they call it. And there's a lot of different parts of it, of how they do kind of this EOS thing. But one of the things that I want to talk about is something called scorecards. And like when you say, the reason why I kind of thought of is like when you say like, oh yeah, my project manager is like they've been doing their job so long, like I don't even really know what they do. A scorecard is like, what are all the accountabilities that this person has in whatever role it is, if it's a painter or sales rep, project manager or admin or bookkeeper or whatever, like what are all their accountabilities, and then what are the metrics associated with them. And then basically what you would do then as the leader is like have a monthly one-on-one meeting with them to like to do scorecard review. So if it's a production manager, it's like producing X dollars per week. Next one would be like achieving a 80% net promoter score. The next one would be like getting average, Google reviews from 80% of clients. And then the next one would be like making sure your painters are at least this productive or whatever, and having like a specific metric around it.
Oh yeah.
And then on a monthly basis, you like do a review with them, be like, okay, how'd you do on this one? How'd you do on this one? How'd you do on this one? And then based on like, if they're red, yellow, or green, you can have different metrics and then make specific improvement plans based on that. And it's just a monthly meeting. But as long as you're using like a metric, like a number to gauge all of those different areas of the business, it'll give you like really clear development plans on like how to improve these people based on like what your definition of success is.
Yeah, my project manager has he has a thing like that where it shows like their goals and like what they want to accomplish for the month, and like personal goals, work goals. And he meets with them one-on-one. He meets with so it's my general manager. He like meets with the project managers, and then also he meets with the guys at the job and just kind of sees how they're doing, but he doesn't do those one-on-ones. I think he was trying to start them, but then we started to get so busy that we have to find employees now.
Yeah, I get you.
So we started to get into it.
So this would be like a sample for a painter scorecard. So like the painter's manager, whether like probably their production manager or something, or the whoever that would be, would do something like this. So we have like a real mission and then the various accountabilities. And on this one in particular, there's like bonuses associated with them. You don't have to have bonuses, but that's just an idea. So the accountability: provide excellent customer service, provide unmatched painting quality, uses material efficiently. And then you have like metrics. So paint percentage of a job, 15%, 12.5%, 10%, completes jobs on time and under budget. And how much did they beat the jobs by? Promotes the company and helps us grow. How many leads do they generate? Right. And then basically you do like a monthly review and say, hey, what were your metrics on your recommendation? Did you have any complaints? So that's like one of the really key tenets of like the whole EOS, entrepreneurial operating system framework, is like running by the numbers on a whole nother level.
And I think like, since our guy's been with us so long, like this is mostly just, we have this like in our head of like, hey, this crew's doing these numbers. We know what crew's doing, how much money they're making per crew. We know like who's showing up, who's getting good reviews. Like we know, and the teams that we've had, they've been with us for over 5 years. Like we don't have very many newer crews. Mostly the people that we've been hiring are just subs, and they just kill it. So I don't.
Yeah.
They're already getting performance-based pay on.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just thinking like, as you have professionalized, since you've grown like so much, like doubled year over year, you eventually want to get to that point where like, if your business to make your business worth something to like another owner, if you ever want to sell it, right? Like how productive your painters are, but like, could someone else come into the business and see all that, easily?
My general manager would be able to show them all the numbers and be able to walk them through everything. And I mean, it's all on our paper. Like we have it all written down, but on our computer. Like we have a spreadsheet and all that for all of it, but we don't have that exact one. But we do have stuff like that. And the amount of time that it takes to go through every single of the 50 employees, I'd have to hire a guy full time to go through that, and then to put all their stuff into each category, and then to give them all bonuses. Like I don't have time for that. Neither does my
you definitely
general manager, and neither does my office person, and neither does nobody has time for that. So I'd have to hire a guy full time that's where I'm kind of like stuck, is like, do I hire somebody to do all these little things, and then after that I'll have to hire somebody else to do more things, and then it's just like a never ending how organized and how tight do I want it, and how many people do I want to hire to do that, because that's like 40 grand. That's like $4,000 a month of payroll just to put all that information down.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. It can be like never ending. It's like, you're exactly right. I need a person for this, I need a person for that. It's like, where do you stop it? What I try to figure out is like, okay, if someone has a system that I like, how do I make it fit in my business?
Yeah.
So something like that, like a monthly meeting definitely wouldn't fit that business, but maybe you could figure out a way to do like quarterly 15-minute meetings or something like that. Right. Or even like group meetings with crews, like crew meetings, like a 15-minute meeting every quarter with each crew is like, would be doable.
Yeah. That's what my project manager does. We meet with the guys once a month. We do a safety meeting. We see how everybody's doing.
Yeah.
We go over everything with them. My project manager meets with them every single day, ask them about their personal life, ask them about the work life. It's a mandatory thing that we ask every single one of our employees every single week. How's their life? How's their job? How's everything going? How's their new helper? How's the job condition that they're on? Is the client treating them good? Is the AC working? Like if the AC isn't on, we're out of there. Like I want them to be like super happy. And I've had people complain where they're like, I've been working in this job for all week, and it smells like, sewer because the toilet's off. And I'm like, well, why didn't you tell me that the first day? I would have told the GC to come over and plug that or put something over it. Like, I don't want you smelling that and like getting that kind of like, I don't want you to get poisoned from that and then go home sick. Like,
how do you communicate with all you guys?
My project manager checks on them every day.
Okay. You don't just like a group. Like I've heard some companies, like we use Slack internally. You don't use like a team chat or anything like that. No,
the last year I just kind of didn't. Like I've been so happy to not be part of the whole team that I don't want to do it. And then I feel like eventually I'll jump back in, but I'm good right now. Like everything's running way better without me. Like the guys are doing everything they're supposed to. Like they're hitting record numbers. They have an issue, they fix it. If I get involved, it's like they already handled it way better than I would have. So I'm like super happy that everything's going smooth, because, once you get involved and you're the owner and you're doing all these extra jobs that aren't even your job, and you're trying to run the business and grow it and own it, it's like you just stress yourself out to the point where you can't really handle any problems properly. And so those are like the jobs that I want to fill with employees, is people that are able to fill those spots to do a better job at those. But I've been looking to hire somebody to get in and go through like business coaching and through programs and implement everything a lot more, just like have every single number like you're saying. But I have to pay somebody 40 hours a week to do that. And it's like, I need somebody that's really good. So that's probably going to cost me at least $1,000, $1,500 a week to pay somebody to do all that for me. With advanced, like I want them to move up. So that's kind of my next spot that I want to hire somebody on, but it's just, I don't know.
What would you call that role?
Assistant owner. Assistant owner.
You should read Traction. Because that whole, what I was just talking about, that would be called an integrator. But you would be like the visionary. And then actually, before you even do that, listen to my podcast like from 2 weeks ago with Jason Paris, because they do at Olive Holdings, they do like the whole integrator visionary thing, and That's what you need as an integrator. And that would be a solid integrator, probably more than $1,500 a week.
Yeah, it's a lot of money. So that's where I'm like 2 years ago, I was doing almost everything myself. Like I was running some projects. I had a project manager. I was doing some projects by myself on the side. I was doing all the sales. I had my mother-in-law. She was helping me with all the admin and messaging and running job, like everything on the computer. She was helping me a lot on that, but I was still doing some of that, and then just trying to run some subs. And so I didn't really start building a team until last year. So once we got a team, a sales guy, an office person full-time, another project manager to cover for everything that I was doing, because I was running all the subs myself, and that wouldn't work out because I had too much going on. And then now we have another project manager. So we were just really short staffed. So it was hard for me to give up a lot of my responsibilities because I was so used to wanting to run it the way that I've been running it, and everything was running so good. I mean, we were winning Best of the West every year. We've won it every year. It's like this big newspaper thing where we're the best painting company in the whole Western Colorado. And I was winning it then. And now I'm like, well, I have, a whole team now. There's no way I'm not going to win it every year now, because instead of doing 40 hours a week, I have 6 people on my team doing 40 hours a week, which is like a ton of work. So it's just crazy, like how you can multiply yourself and get 10 times more work done every week with a team. And so trying to decide if I want to hire somebody else, it's just hard for me because I've been doing it for the last 12 years. Like I've been running everything myself.
So there's 2 things that people are saying a lot right now, and I want you to address both of them. One of them is there's no work out there and customers are cheap. And the other one is I can't find any good people to work for me. What would you say to the people who are saying those things to themselves?
What are they saying? It's cheap
there's no leads, and homeowners are too cheap to pay for good quality painting. And then the other one is we can't find any good labor. There's no one willing to work.
And I agree with there's no labor out here, is because I have all of them. So if you want to come work for me, that would be your best bet, because everybody works for me here. So you're right. And if there is,
I've gotten to that one.
And just so you know, if there is a painter in town, they're coming to work for me. So because I pay them way better than you do. Let's see. What's the first one would be
customers are cheap.
Customers
no one wants
are not
to pay for
cheap.
A good painting job.
People, so this is the thing, like people have this mindset. They have a really, really bad mindset, and they think that customers aren't cheap, but they just want a really good quality job and they'll pay more. Like the crazy thing, I have to try to tell people this all the time, is that they go with the higher bid every single time, and we're the highest bid. So like if we're doing $138,000 a week and they're going with the highest bid, it's because you don't have a good sales process. They probably don't trust you. You got to really be like a trustworthy, honest person, not just trying to sell them and be like a car salesman or so you have to work on your sales process, and then not have a limited mind set that you're like, oh, everyone's cheap. Because once you start getting into all that, like I had a sales guy that was like that, where he was like, oh man, they didn't go with us again because we're the highest bid. And I'm like, that's not the reason. I'm like, let's figure out what the reason is, because there's a ton of reasons why they didn't go with you. They just didn't tell you what it was. Like you have to like really, and I think that's why the pre-call, like the best thing that we've done is the pre-call, like just establishing a relationship with them before we even show up, which I hate to even tell you guys this, because I know a lot of you are going to start trying to do the pre-call, and then you're going to win a ton of bids, and then I'm probably going to lose like $10,000 a week. So that'll make me sad. But yeah, so I think if you did the pre-call and then you just really try to establish a relationship with the customer, and you go there and be professional, and you explain step by step how the process works and how to do a really good job and how it takes 7 days, and then charge for the whole 7 days instead of trying to give them discounts and trying to look cheap. Like, just look like you're going to be a 7-day job and that you're going to do it perfectly, and they'll hire you. It makes sense to them. I mean, I've hired people before at my house and they weren't the cheapest bid. And it's because I didn't even get other bids. I just liked that person and I hired them. And I think like I used to have that mindset too, where I thought people were cheap, but then I realized that it's just because my sales process wasn't that great.
Yeah, man, we had a client at our mastermind last week in Minneapolis, and the client was like, yeah, like we're really good at closing like the $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 jobs, but every time we like do a bid for like a $10,000 job or more, I just can't close it. Like, I'm not sure why. So we Jesse, one of my other coaches, he asked him, he's like, have you ever, hey, just think, have you and your wife ever bought like, do you guys own a home? Yes. Okay. Have you ever bought anything for your house that was more than $10,000? And he like thought, he's like, no, I don't think I have. I'm like, why not? He's like, I feel like that would be a lot of money. I'm like, you think it's too much money. So if you think it's too much money, of course the client is going to think it's too much money.
Seriously. I mean, I think it's like 10 grand's a lot. Like I'm making $130,000 and every week, and I'm thinking 10,000's a lot. I'm like, but I don't do the sales. So my sales guy, he sells them all. But yeah, I think our average job size is $95,000. So I don't see how.
100.
Huh?
9,500.
Yeah, 9,500. Yeah.
Yeah.
$9,500. So I don't see how that's cheap and how everybody's cheap out here, because they're just dropping that money. They're just giving it to me though. That's why you're not getting it.
Yeah. Yeah. Fair enough.
That's what it is.
So what do you think has been like the biggest, actually, no, before I do that, back to the team thing. So why do you feel like you have 50 employees and subs, right? What are some of the challenges that you've had with that big of a team? What are some of the things that you've learned leading that many people?
That you actually gotta care about people, and that you really gotta like figure out like what's going on in their home life, because like I've lost so many people that I wish I didn't, because the way that I was treated when I was working for people was the way that I thought that's how you're supposed to treat employees. I mean, this was like 5 or 6 years ago. But then once I started to realize like that's not right. And like I started like, you got to care about people and their feelings, especially like in these days. I know like back when I was like 10 years ago, I think it was like 15 years ago when I was in the workforce, like you just go to work, you work your 8 hours and that's it. Like you don't talk about your personal life. You don't talk about anything. You just work hard, you make your money and you go home. Like I thought that was normal, but it's like with this yeah, but with the new generation, it's like, you want to make sure that they're doing all right. And you got to like care about people, and actually like we have pizza parties every quarter. Like we have everybody there. We do giveaways, we do awards. Whoever gets like the most, whoever does like the best for that month, like you're saying, like gets the best profits and all that, like they get an award. So like we'll have employee of the month. Let's see, we just did a 10-year for my project manager. My sales guy, he made $1 million in sales, so he got a plaque. And then we just took people to a really nice restaurant and bought them tons of pizza and food. And we had a little chat about our plans and goals. And I think just like building a team and just actually like caring about everybody, and actually like, and that's what I want for my project manager. I'm like, hey bro, like you got to get out there, or my general manager is like, get out there, go meet with everybody every day, see how they're doing at home, see how they're doing personal life and at the job. Like I want him to really know everything about these people, because sometimes like people quit and you're like, man, why'd they quit? And you don't find out for a couple months. You're like, oh, they quit over something so small that you wish you would have known, but I'm not running things anymore. So it's like, I don't know why they quit. I wasn't there for them, but I want my team to be there for them. Like I used to be,
Yeah. So how do you deal with that now being so removed?
Just just having my general manager meet with them every day. At the job site, checking how they're doing, just going over. He has reviews that he sits down with them on one-on-ones.
Nice.
So
Okay.
he does reviews with them once a week and just make sure like goals, what their goals are for the year and how we can help them with that. I would love to turn all of my painters into subs. Like I tell them, like I was like, if they want to be a sub, I was like, let's get them on a plan to make them a subcontractor so that they can start their own business. Like they can make really good money because a lot of them they're like, well, I'm a painter, and it's like, no, dude, like painting's really good. Like you can make so much money painting. Like I have subs that do 2 or 3 jobs a week and they're making like $9,000.
Do you pay your W-2s piece rate or anything, or just straight hourly?
Just hourly. Like I said, I can't hire somebody to do all that paperwork for the piece rate. I tried rolling out a couple of those programs, but I'll leave it up to my manager. He'll hook them up if they get like jobs done early. If they go up to him like, hey, if I get this job done in 4 days instead of 5, can I get a bonus? And he's like, yeah, and he'll hook them up. So
yeah, man. I just want to make another appeal to you to do that for your team.
Do what?
Try to move your W-2s to a piece rate system for the reason of like, yeah, you'll get better productivity, but I think your productivity is good enough. I don't think you need that. But for the fact of like giving, in my opinion, piece rate is like super fair to the guys because it gives them like what's, I feel like, rightfully theirs. So if we peg labor at like 35% and like we really want our W-2 labor to be at 35%, which is like pretty standard. If they get the job done and they're at like 30% or 31%, like that extra 4% of the job should go directly to them. And we should just be happy with 35%. Same with subs, because you peg your subs at like 45 or 50%, right? So why can't our in-house team, benefit from that same upside? That's what my thought is.
No, I agree. I think I know that's how we have a couple of crews set up where they get jobs done early. They make deals with the project manager, and
they shouldn't have to make deals. It should be, in my opinion. I feel like it should be automatic.
Yeah,
you just need someone to do the paperwork is all, right?
Yeah, if they want to do their own paperwork and
no, man, I can help you get set up with like a virtual assistant, a bookkeeper for $1,000 a month, and they can do it for you.
Oh, really?
All that for you. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be a lot. That would be a lot better. We're kind of interviewing some of those people right now.
Yeah. Well, give me a shout if you want to chat about that.
Okay.
We can do a whole episode on that, honestly. Yeah. Okay. So that's cool. Now, what do you feel is the biggest thing that's changed for you in terms of like where your business was 2 years ago to where it is today? Like it seems like it's a completely different kind of organization. I mean, you were running like high quality and your painters are happy because you're winning these awards, but like you guys have like over doubled in size.
Yeah, I think just hiring a coach, and I think everybody should have a coach, and also getting a lot of friends that are in the 1 million to 5 million range and being able to reach out to them and going, hey, this is the problem I'm having right now. What do you do in this situation? And they're just like, oh, do this like you. Like, hey, I'm having a problem with this. And you're like, oh, try this, this, and that. Like, I feel like having friends in the industry is like the most important thing. Like, that's the only reason why I started my podcast, is so that I can make friends with people that, like you, that know a lot of stuff. And, I get to meet Lucas and hang out with him. And now he's going to help me with my advertising. And so I'm like, I thought I could do the advertising myself, but then I was like, I found out that I'm supposed to have somebody doing it for me to free me up, since it wastes about 6 hours of my week. So,
yeah. I mean, it's always like that, right? It's like, how can you keep up leveling your time from these lower level activities? Biggest thing I heard there is that you think I'm your friend. It's very kind.
Yeah. I think you're my friend.
Yeah, man. Hanging out.
You seem pretty nice.
I'm okay. I try to be nice. at least when I'm in public, when the cameras are off.
Yeah, like at the PCA.
Yeah.
When you're summing.
After about 10 o'clock at night, just a switch flips, right?
I don't think you stayed out that late. I know I was in bed at like 11 or 12.
Yeah, I think 10 was pretty much my limit. Big days, man. Big days. So, I mean, I agree with that. You know, your network is your net worth, right? You like the people you hang out with. If you're like looking at your business and you think like $1 million is so much and like so crazy, and then you like meet with someone who's doing 10 million and like, that guy's not that much smarter than me.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm just shocked I got to where I'm at. Like there's just so many smart people out there, but I just don't think they put the work in, and they get scared. I think fear is like the biggest thing that holds everybody back. Like I've had so many things that I've been afraid of that held me back still. Like even right now, I have like, I can name like 5 things that cause me not to move forward. Like I could be so far advanced right now, but it's like, I'm just like, oh man, if I do that, I'm going to be spending this much time. And, I don't know, like,
or like the decisions to decide to like, I'm going to take a step back in earnings this month so that I can like hire this person. Like, I kind of like where the earnings are at right now. I don't want to like give up 15% or 20% of my monthly earnings to hire this person.
Yeah, it's the time too. Like, I know that if I do something that I want to do, it's like, do I want to spend the time on it? Like, because I have to do it. Like, I know I have to do it, and or I have to spend the time training somebody, or I have to spend the time to hire somebody. Like, It's always a time thing. And it's like right now I don't have to do it, and I'd rather just, take it. Like, this has been a great year. Like, I've never had a chance to just sit here and work on my business and look for any little thing that I can fix. And there's hundreds of things. Like, I'm going through different ideas with other painters and coaches, and I'm like, oh, I need to implement that. I need to implement that. And there's like 100 things that I need to implement. It's like never ending. Like, and then as soon as I get those, there's 100 more, and then there's 100 more. And it's like where I'm going, I'm headed the right direction. It's just, I'm slowly implementing 1 or 2 things every couple of weeks. And so it's just, I think just having that forward momentum is really getting me to where I'm going right now.
I mean, it's also okay, like, to just be good for a bit and just like not coast, but like not push for crazy aggressive growth every single day. Just be good where you're at for a little bit and just like do it really, really good. Do it really well.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, they overwork themselves and get themselves in a dark place where they like, you just don't know if you're gonna, like, how do you get out of that? Like, it's so much, like, that's what really scares me, is like getting back into that place where I'm just so stressed and overwhelmed that, I'm trying to figure out how to escape my life, because I don't want to be a part. So like being out of that is just amazing. Like, I'm just so happy right now that I'm out of that and I have a team.
How do you think you got out of it?
Getting a team that loves me, and that they protect me from all the stuff, and they're there for me. And I mean, my office lady, she's just like, as soon as a problem come in, she takes care of it. And they're like,
go ahead.
She's like, can I talk to Daniel? And she's like, well, let me see if I can help you, because like, I don't want to do her job. Like, I don't want to deal with those people. I really don't. I'm so sick of it.
Like a real good gatekeeper.
Yeah, she's awesome, man. Freaking love her.
Yeah.
She's like so good. And then like my project manager today, my new one, even just stepping up and going there and handling all that. Like, that's a lot of stuff. If you add all the stuff that comes with owning a business, if you add it all and you take care of it all yourself, it's such a nightmare. It is insane.
It is. And most people go through that, and most people never get out of that. And that's why they quit their businesses, is because they think that's all there is in business ownership, is doing everything themselves.
Mm-hmm. I had a guy today, he's like, anyone that does over 300,000 a month, he's like, I'm just like, that's just so far above what I'm just like, he thought it was so awesome. And I'm like, it's so much easier, really. I was like, that's the easiest, like being at my level is like perfect. Like, this is the best I've had in 10 years. Like, this is the greatest this is the greatest, most relaxing, best time I've ever had in 12 years.
Yeah, it's like that 0 to 500K is like the grind.
It's horrible.
Yeah, and then you get from like 500K to $1 million, and it's like it can be better or it can be even worse if you don't structure it well, if you don't put those processes in place and get things off your plate. And then from 1 to 3, a lot of building, a lot of stress, a lot of problems. But then 3+ is hopefully that point where like, okay, things have calmed down. You have leadership structure. You have people not like people come to you with solutions instead of problems, like you're saying.
I've seen this one guy, he went from like 0 to $1 million or 2 million like instantly, but he does it all the time and then he goes out of business, but then he comes back and he does it again and goes out of business. And like every time I see him, I'm like, oh my God, he's coming back. And I just watch him and he's like, and then crashes again. And I'm like, it's so, but like that, I mean, if I was to start over, like I could get to 3 million, like probably a couple years easily, like get the contacts, get the advertising. I know everybody. I know all you guys, like set everything up, get some good project management, get a good manager, get a good office person in.
Yeah.
There's even a hiring system that I'm trying to get on board right now where it like hires employees for you. Like it finds them and hires them for you for super cheap. I'm like,
what's that one called?
Is it HireBus or something like that? I was going to do it.
Okay.
HireBus. I was going to do.
What I was going to ask you actually is something that I feel like maybe you're really good at that you're not giving, that we're not talking about, is like your ability to find and recruit good people.
Yeah.
Like that's what like everything hinges on. What do you look for in an interview? Like what are the characteristics that you like to see?
So like my sales guy, when I first met him, I was just like, I didn't even know him. He just walks up to me and he's like, hey, what's up, bro? And he shakes my hand. And I was like, oh, wow, this guy's like really friendly. And I'm like, wow, he's pretty cool. And then like the next time I seen him, same thing. I was like, hey, do you like sales? He's like, yeah, I work sales over here at this place. I'm like, awesome, I need a sales guy. He's like, really? I was like, yeah. And so like he started working for me right away. Like me and him just like connected. But it's just like constantly talking to people and meeting people, and then you like see like what kind of a person they are and like the position that they would be good in. That's how I basically met every single person. Like our office manager, she worked at Sherwin for 10 years. I'd always get my paint from her. I never got it from anybody else. She always was the one that would get it for us and made it perfect every single time. She'd fix every problem for us. So when I found out she was available, I was at the dentist office. I think we were painting it, and I seen her with her kids there. And I was like, hey, I heard you were looking for a job. I was like, can you start on Monday? And she's like, really? I was like, yeah, we need an office manager. And so she started on Monday, and she's been with us ever since.
So you're like a very intuitive hirer.
Yeah, I look for people that I like. All my employees are people that I like. Like I met you, I seen you at the paint store, I seen you at Home Depot, I liked you. If I don't like you, you don't work for me. Like if I like you, then I'll come up to you and go out of my way and be like, hey, you want a job? Like if they're like giving me weird looks and stuff, I'm like this guy doesn't, what the hell is he looking at me for? But then like people that are super friendly, it's like, okay, that's who I want to represent our company, is people just like me that are super friendly, that love to talk to customers and do a good job and get like, that's how I used to be. But like, that's how like, I'm just so glad to not be a part of painting right now. Like having this break has been awesome. But
because you're not even doing recruiting right now. Like your project managers are recruiting, or are you hiring? Are you still like the main recruiter?
Yeah, like I go to events and stuff. Like I'll be out on town eating, and I'll see somebody that I like that at like a store that's selling me something, and I'll try to see like how they, like if they're interested in a job. Or I see my buddy at church, I tried to hire him the other day. Like I'm always constantly just like looking around.
Do you guys have like an internal development process to like train painters? Because you don't hire just experienced painters. I'm assuming you train in-house as well.
We only hire experienced painters, and then we only hire experienced subs. And then my project managers, they basically just go over the procedures with them and show them what needs to be done. And then they, after a couple of jobs, they're right on where we need them to be. So
nice. I like that, man. I like that intuitive. I'm a big believer in hiring people based on like based on feel, I think there should be a little bit of qualification, you know, of experiences and make sure they're not criminal and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But if I like you and you're like a person, you give me good vibes, like a really good first impression, like that is, you know, you're like pretty much like it's your job to lose.
Yeah. I mean,
Don't say the bad. Don't tell me anything really shitty right now, and you probably got the job.
well, like the guy, I was like, hey, what do you like doing sales? And he's like, yeah, I'm working a sales job. I mean, just like everything lined up, you know? And then I was like, okay. And then me and him went and sold a couple of jobs for the month. And then he was like, I can do this myself. And he just started going for it. So
That's awesome, man.
yeah.
So you're just gonna chill here for a little bit. Like what's your like 3-year vision for integrity?
My 3-year vision, I want to get to 10 million. The only way to get there is to go to Denver and Aspen area, which I'm already kind of working in, building my commercial, which we're already doing. We're tightening up numbers. We hired a commercial estimating coach that coaches my estimator directly. They're doing over 3 million. And so they're coaching us to get to 3 million in commercial right now. But they're actually growing this year. That was last year. So he's a really good coach. He's going to help my estimator. I'm not going to drop his name on here because I don't want anybody else using his time when I need it. So
yeah, that's fine.
But yeah, so we're going to have him, and then we're going to sign up for a couple programs for each of my guys to just like directly meet with a coach and get them coached directly. I just need them all like coached directly so that I can step back from doing that.
Yeah.
And then we're going to also get licensed in Utah and do some work over in Moab, which is pretty close. It's like 45 minutes. And just kind of following the commercial train, like every job that we've been doing a great job, just like that one with the wallpaper. They got 4 more of those for us right now. After that meeting, they were super happy. They thought we were professional. They told us they have 4 more going in, and there's even one down in Albuquerque. So who knows, we might be in Arizona in 3 years. But I think that's our path, is getting to the commercial, keeping the residential where it's at, and just tightening it up so that we're constantly getting 5-star reviews and making people happy. Continue to win the best of the West every single year.
Yeah.
The last 4 years. I'm hoping to win it again this year. And then, just grow the commercial. That's the only way I can see. I thought about starting doing roofing, but I just have so many friends that do roofing that I'm like, I just don't want to get into that market. And then,
Oh man, there's more than enough things to paint.
And roofs. Yeah, but it's like I could, like the guy was saying in the comments, it's like it's a small town. Like I get what he's saying. Like it's a small town. Like you have to diversify. There's no way you could do 5 million in commercial or in residential here. There's just no way that you have to.
What town are you in?
Huh?
Where are you again? What town?
In Grand Junction. It's on the western slope of Colorado.
Okay.
It's 130,000 with like all the surrounding areas.
Yeah. Okay.
So like we had to do new construction, we had to do commercial, we had to do residential, we had to do every single thing to keep our guys busy, because there's 100 painting companies here. And there's only 100,000, there's 100,000 people and there's 100 painting companies. So like we had to really get good at everything to take over such a big part of the market here.
And how long are you to get to Denver?
It's 4 hours. Well, the way my general manager drives like 3 hours, but he was going 85.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely just like, because you're in such a small town, like expanding geographically is pretty much like the only way to go, I think. Oh, dude, it's hot there right now.
It's so nice. Yeah, I had a hoodie on. I was trying to wear my hoodie and then I had to take it off because it was so hot out.
Yeah. Yeah, it's awesome. Like, what is it, like 90 degrees there right now?
Is there any good comments in there? Is there any more good comments?
On the podcast?
Yeah.
We're not live. We're posting this on Wednesday.
I thought you said that there was a couple of people with some questions.
Oh, no.
Earlier you were talking about like how there was like, there wasn't that. I mean, the people were cheap over here and all that. I hear that.
No, yeah, I just talked to a lot of people. So, yeah, man, I would say you just definitely got to expand. Like we have a client who's doing about 900K a month in commercial, but he's in Atlanta.
Yeah, that's easy.
Yeah.
That's
Tons of
easy.
work.
And we talked about moving, but like I said, like the whole trying to grow it again.
Yeah.
I like hanging out with my daughter and going to the park and
You know
I
Zach
like-
Kenny?
Huh?
You know Zach Kenny? ZK Painting?
Oh yeah, he's so cool. I like him.
Yeah, man. He moved, like when he was starting his company, he moved from wherever he was to Boston because the market was bigger. He's like, my goals, my dream, my vision, my city isn't big enough, wherever that was. He's like, he moved his whole family to Boston and started his company there.
And that's why I got to get organized and have my guys running everything for me and doing everything without me. For this whole year, I've been practicing and helping them get better and better so that I can go to those areas that I talked about and spend time there without being, on a call or having to drive back or having to fly back or having to.
Man, I bet with the way that you think and the way that you operate things, if you spent like a week or like a few weeks in Denver, just like get everything set up, get an estimator, meet some contacts, like I bet you could spin things up in Denver pretty quick.
I'd hang out at Sherwin-Williams all day and I'd just sit there and talk to every single painter and try to find out who's my favorite ones.
Yeah.
And then I'd be like, okay, we're going to do this. You're going to be my project manager now.
Yeah. And then I would just go through the phone book or through the yellow pages or through Google or whatever and call every single like construction company, every single home builder, every single property manager. Easy.
That's what I do. That's what I do with my free time. I'm always calling GCs or Facebooking them, or during the day, I'm always on Instagram sending funny stuff to GCs to try to get them to send me a job for once in their life, but they take forever.
Yeah, but once they do, they give you the test job to make sure that you can do it, and then you do it, and then they're like, okay.
Yeah, that's all I need is that test job. And I've been working on my one buddy, Kyle. I've been trying to get a test job for him for like 3 years. And every month he's like, yeah, I got this job coming up for you. I hope he sees this because it's like every time.
Come on, Kyle. Quit being a dick, Kyle.
Just give me one shot, Kyle.
Give him a shot. Every
month I have to ask. No, I'm saying. Yeah, I think he had like 3 jobs coming up for me this year. So it's going to be, but that's what I like to do is just try to hit up people like Kyle and try to make friends with them. And hopefully they give me some work.
Dude, I love how simple you talk about business. I guess that business isn't always as simple. And before we bounce for the day, I want you to give people just a word of encouragement from like thinking back to the days for you when you were just grinding and it was dark and it was difficult. And what kind of like encouragement can you give to someone like that who's like aspiring to get to your situation one day?
There's so many directions I could go with this. Yeah, I would just pray, man. God literally brought me out of that. Like he sent me to the PCA. Like I got tickets from I was like praying to get out of that. And then the next day, like I got tickets to the PCA from my sales rep. And as soon as I went to the PCA, like I didn't even know what that was. Like I thought it was just like I just thought, oh, it's going to be like a gathering with like different vendors. And when I got there, I met so many people that helped me out and were like, dude, why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? You need to do this. And like, just like constantly, like, I just felt like God just like I just kept meeting more people and more people. And he just kept putting people in my life and influencing me. So I guess like, if you're in that dark place, I would just pray and, God will show you, like he'll show you the next steps and just put your faith in that and move forward. Cause that's the only way I got out of there. There's no other explanation for that.
Pray and go to the PCA.
Pray and you'll get free tickets.
That works. Sweet, Daniel. Well, hey man, thanks for coming today. Super fun chat. Yeah. And love what you built, man. I love how chill you are with your business and stoked to keep chatting in the future. Now
Yeah,
that I can call you my friend.
Yeah, thanks for having me on again. That's pretty cool that we can go back to back.
Yeah, cool. Thanks, brother.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to the Painter Growth Podcast. If you want to grow your painting business, go to www.paintergrowth.com or click on the top link in the description. Talk soon.